my camera for a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, viewers, if anyone's watching, I'd like to jump on here a few minutes early and share the video. We should be starting at 8 o'clock. I think we're doing pretty good here. Let's see.
Oh, you got my name right above the monitor.
Yep. Well, hold on. Turn my, okay, Tom's window. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Tom's window. There. I just pulled it down behind it.
That works.
Okay, now let me back over here, share the video. I'll share it to that Brian Hogue guy.
That Brian Hogue guy.
Yeah. Let's see. So there's Ava sending me a heart. Thank you, baby. And I'll share it to the ChillerNight group page. There you go, Ava, I sent your heart back. So far, I gotta say, this is going pretty smooth.
So far.
Fingers crossed. Now I gotta open up the chat. It is 8 o'clock. Let me get this. Oh, we've got quite a bit of, wow, we got quite a bit of chats going on so far. All right. Let me, hey everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. We have special guest, Tom Paisley. Let me open up a full page of chat so I can see that. And then we'll start here in a few seconds. Well, I'll just put on the, I'll run the opening right now. Meet you on the other side of this 30 seconds, folks. Hey everybody, this is Brian Hogue, and I'm here with Tom Paisley. So we are here. All right, can you hear me okay, Tom?
I can hear you fine. I did not hear your opening.
Oh. Okay. Well, let's see. Now I'm waiting for my chat page to appear because I know there's chats. I cannot see them though. I can only see like one at a time. Wait a minute, here we go. Deborah says, good evening, Chiller Thrillers. Hey, Deborah. Oh, John, of course, we got the, John says, portions of tonight's show is brought to you in normal view. Normal view, normal view, normal view. Okay? It's Saturday night, and time again for the ChillerNight pre-show. This is Crozak the Grand, and now here's Brian Hogue, his special guest. Take it away, Brian. Here.
I'm special.
You are special. This is special.
I am special.
Ava says, that is so cool. It's like he's right in the office with you.
I know. Hey, Eva, can you make me a sandwich?
I don't even get that treatment.
You
No, I'm
don't.
kidding.
No.
Let's see. I'm still waiting for my... Oh, I'm trying to open up this chat so I can see what people are saying. Brad says, it's a ChillerNight pre-show. Brian Hogue with special guest Tom Paisley, and here's Brian. What's on tonight, guys? I will... Oh, Paul says, I want some Torga drugs. All right, well, let me hit this chat page again. Let me try to open this up. And while I'm doing that, take it away there.
Hey, Paul.
Chat. Not sure why this isn't working. Alright, so tonight, well, while I'm waiting for that to come up, I'll put the schedule up. Now, I don't know how much you can actually see, Tom. Can you see that?
I can see it.
Okay, cool. Tonight at 9, Manos, The Hands of Fate. That, of course, was the episode that we did just Tuesday night. And it is featuring for the first time on Stream TV at 9 o'clock tonight. 10:25, the movie is The Snow Creature. 11:50, the movie is The Mad Monster. And at 1:25 a.m., Dementia 13. So that is tonight's ChillerNight programming. All right. And now I'm going to try again opening up this chat page.
So how about that Manos, huh? Wasn't that a great movie?
It was different. It was different.
I think I had seen it before. Last time I saw it was an MST3K version of it, and they did a really good job of riffing that one.
You know, that's actually what brought everything that I was reading about Manos, The Hands of Fate. That's the Mystery Science Theater. Them bringing that show back actually kind of sparked up an interest in the movie again, and it kind of from that became a cult classic, I guess.
Oh, really? Was it that late?
Yeah, it wasn't until they brought it on. They brought it on like in the early '90s, and
Yeah,
it was
they did.
because
Wow.
of that. Few people had actually heard of it, I guess. This is from everything I could find about it, and it was them presenting that movie on their show is what got people re-aware of the movie and kind of exploded in popularity, much like Plan 9 from Outer Space did. It's just one of those movies that's so horrible to watch that it's fun to do so, and we got to do that Tuesday night.
Yeah, two of my favorite ones from MST3K are that one and EGA. Yeah, they do a good job on EGA.
Yeah. Well, and this movie was similar to that in that they had to go back and redub everything, much like EGA. They lost, in that case, they lost the soundtrack. In this case, I'm not real sure, but I actually think that the camera that they were using, the little Bell & Howell 16 millimeter camera that they used, I don't know if it was actually capable of recording sound. I don't know that much about it, but they had to go back and redo everything. Brad says, go Erie Baseball Seawolves. They are in Eastern League Championship Series for the first time ever right now. Go Seawolves. Okay.
Yeah, the main character in there, the guy played by Arch Hall Jr. on EGA, apparently really took umbrage to Joel Hodgson's treatment on MST3K. I think they got together at a convention somewhere and sort of chatted about it on stage. It was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, now did Arch Hall Jr. have a good sense of humor about it?
I think he eventually did, but I mean, he was much older when this happened, so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, obviously, I think it was his dad that made the film.
Yeah, his dad made the movie with the intent of springboarding Arch Hole Jr., his son, into stardom. Because in that movie, he does a few little musical renditions, Um, that was to try to get his son recognized. And that's actually why Arch Hall Sr. made the movie of Ega, um, for his, to launch his son's fame and fortune, I guess.
Hmm.
Let's see,
So
Pulse.
if you could do any movie, Brian, on your show, regardless of copyright status, what would you do? What would you think would be your favorite?
The first one I can think of off the top of my head, instant would be The Bride of Frankenstein, just because for the type of show that we're doing, the old chillers. That to me is like the perfect Saturday night monster movie, The Bride of Frankenstein. I love
Yeah,
that
but
movie.
that's just a straight up well-made movie. I mean, you don't have a really bad one that you've always loved to do.
Oh, a bad one like Ego or Manos, that type of thing. If we were, I'd have to think about that. I don't know. I mean, if we were doing one just to kind of make fun of and have fun with, I don't know. I'd have to I'd have to think
Well,
about
I
that.
guess I guess Chiller Night is the classic and not so classic. It's kind of both.
Right, right. I don't know. How about you? As far as the I don't know I called this the fright flop when I described it. Put the title in the description. But what about you? What would be?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about showing a movie, I'm probably with you on Bride, um, or anything around that era. I love the early Universal monster flicks. I mean, I would say something like John Carpenter's The Thing, but that would just be more of a watch party than anything else.
I, yeah, I would absolutely love to play. There's so many I would love to play on, and I wish we could. I wish we. I got another one. Wow, there's so many comments. This is awesome. I'm sorry I'm not catching a lot of these, but um, Kate says yes, The Bride of Frankenstein. Yes, that is just the perfect movie. Glam says no problem, Renee. I apologize that I still can't find the E with the right accent for your name. I use my phone to chat and seem to have limited characters. And I have several people posting about MST3K. Um, yeah, I wish. I just had a copyright or an issue with YouTube with the Devil Bat. I think it was the Devil Bat. It's hard to keep track anymore because I get I get bombarded with these things so often. So yeah. Can you imagine if I actually played one that had a copyright, for real? I mean, if that were the
Well, I
case,
mean,
I'd be doing it all the time.
yeah, but I mean that's supposed to be out of copyright. All these things. I mean, you keep getting dinged for these things that you shouldn't be getting dinged for.
I know. I know. It's frustrating. Um, let's see. Yeah, lots of folks on here tonight. Very, very cool. Well, if we do another movie Tuesday night, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there anything you guys would like to see? We could shoot and do another Tuesday night movie. Renee says GF. So press the letter. Oh, she's giving instructions to Glam. Okay. On phone. Paul says you play Taste the Blood of Dracula.
Uh,
I don't know if that is. Sporty says Robot Monster. We actually just played that one. Um, we played that one not too long ago. Actually, at
well,
the very end of July 30th is when we played Robot Monster, and then it ran for 4 weeks on our cycle. I just kind of like move down to the next one, move down to the next one, and so forth. So we just finished up Robot Monster not too long ago. Not too long ago. John says,
Yeah,
how?
Taste the Blood of Dracula is 1970. That's probably still off limits.
John said, how about Satan's Triangle? Well, I'll write a list of these down, and I'll see whichever ones look like, suitable public domain movies that we can get away with. Let's see. I'll check on Blood of Dracula, but I don't know. I've never seen that one in the titles for, the public domain lists. Blood of Dracula. You never know, though. I can't.
It's a Christopher Lee Dracula film. It's not going to be out of copyright. But
Yeah. Giant Claw, Sporty says. All right, we'll put that one down. Satan's Triangle, okay. Let's see. David says, champagne popped and poured. Cheers from the hot tub. Cassandra says hi. Hey, thanks, David and Diana. Thanks for joining us tonight. Renee says, Robot Monster was played for the past 2 weeks. Yes. Yeah, we just did that one. That's a fun one, but yeah, we just played that one. Brad says, coming to public domain in a few years. Dracula, Frankenstein, and King Kong.
well, King Kong was 1933.
Mm-hmm.
Dracula was what, 31?
31. So was
And
Frankenstein.
so I think it was Frankenstein. What is that supposed to be? 75 years past the creator? I don't remember.
That I don't know. I can't. Renee says, Evil Speaks movie, please. Okay, we'll put that on the list here. John says, Slaughter of the Vampires. Okay. I'm getting a pretty good list. You know which one I was looking at today? I was trying to find something. Was a werewolf in a girl's dormitory, and the title is so crazy, but it's actually. I was expecting a really. I've heard of this movie. I've heard the title before, but I've actually never seen it. And I started watching it today, or just kind of going through it, and it actually didn't seem like a bad movie at all. Like the title of it makes it seem pretty hokey, but it didn't look that bad. Renee says Super Inframan. Oh, I would love to play Super Inframan. Do you know that I actually went to the theater to see Super Inframan when it came out in, was it 76? It might have been 76. I don't know if I can play that one. I'll check.
Oh, Paul wants Meat for Satan's icebox. I guess he means icebox.
Oh, that's one of David and Diana's the Kiss of Death Productions.
Yes,
movies.
it is. Werewolf of DC. You've shown that one before.
Yeah, Werewolf of Washington, yeah. Sporty says, Invasion of the Vampires is a very atmospheric, spooky, Universal-ish movie. Invasion of the Vampires. The reason I'm writing these down old school is because I'll never remember them after. Oh, Renee says 77. Okay, I was close with the Inframan movie, Super Inframan.
Invasion of the Vampires is 1963.
Oh, Renee says Black Sabbath, 1966 with Boris Karloff. You know, the good thing is, if we can't get it in this Tuesday, I've got a list now. You guys are giving me quite a list. We can, we've got stuff stacked up here for a while.
Invasion of the Vampires is a Spanish language film, but there was a English language dub in 1965, so make sure you get that.
Okay, I'm writing down Attack of the Killer Bees by Brad. What's that one? Which one? The
Invasion of the Vampires.
Invasion of Vampires.
Yeah. Gargoyles.
Oh, Gargoyles, yeah. I know we wouldn't be able to play that one, but that would be I would love to play that. That just seems like... I remember when Gargoyles first came out. I'm guessing off the top of my head, maybe 1972. But I remember that being like... it It wasn't a theatrical release, if I remember, because I remember watching it on TV. I think it was a made-for-TV movie, if I recall. I remember as a little kid seeing that. Um, Paul
I don't think I ever
says,
saw Gargoyles.
"Do you? What's that?
I don't think I ever saw Gargoyles.
Really? Wow. That's one of
Yeah,
those like Trinity of Terror. I think it was one of. I think that was a made-for-TV movie. Um,
1972. Well, Trilogy of Terror, I am very familiar with.
1972. I was right about gargoyles. Okay. Um, Paul says Halloween end out in October. Do you think it's really over? Halloween end out.
Gargoyles had Cornell Wilde in it. That's crazy.
Oh, I know what you. Oh, with the Halloween movie franchises. You mean the franchise ending in October? I don't know. I find it difficult to believe anything's over as long as they feel like they can make money from it. So that's, you know, I, I don't know. That's a. I don't, these people making decisions aren't going to pull the plug on anything as long as they think they can milk it for some more money, you know. Oh, Kevin says Gargoyles is on Svengoolie tonight. Renee says Joint City. Boy, we're getting a lot of different ones for me to check out. Doc says it's never over with Halloween. you know, Santa versus the Space Martians. Brad says, I have a feeling we would be able to play that one.
Satanic Rites of Dracula.
Sporty asks if the Satanic Rites of Dracula is a public domain. It's actually, for a long time, it has always been on the public domain list. I've actually played it for Sleepy Hollow Theater, and I did play it in the earlier days of ChillerNight Theater. And then they took it off the public domain list. I mean, it was on for many years, and then all of a sudden, boom, and YouTube pulled the copies off. They started kicking the copies off of YouTube as well. So
It's crazy. Once something goes into public domain, it can't come out. I mean, that's just.
I don't know how that works. And there was another one. Gosh, what was the one that we played with? Had Richard Burton in it. The one where I Bury the Living, I think was the title of it. I Bury the Living. I have to check. But that was another one for a long time. It was always on the public domain list, just like Satanic Rites of Dracula. And lo and behold, YouTube starts bumping it off and starts pulling all the copies off. So I don't know how that works. I really don't. I don't know.
Richard Burton or Richard Boone?
Richard Boone. Did I say Burton?
Yeah. Or I think you said Burton.
Yeah, Richard Boone. Yep.
Yeah, that's I Bury the Living, 1958.
Yep. Let's see. Glam says, I never got around to seeing Mr. Stitches 2018 by Michael Smith. He was on your show before. Wonder if there would be a way to play his movie some night. It sounds like a good movie. That's a good recommendation. You know which other one I would like to... you brought up Michael Smith, and I had just recently seen, through scrolling on Facebook, his other movie, his more recent one, House of the Vampire. And he did that. He also was on the show talking about that one. He did that with kind of the Hammer horror movies in mind when he went into making that one. So, I don't know. I could ask him. I mean, I'm not, never hurts to ask. Let's see. Mr. Stitches. All right. James Jenkins, Attack of the Monsters. Wow, we're getting tons of ideas here.
No, Metropolis is still public domain.
Yeah.
Bonehead was thinking that it's not. I think what they do is when they do a restore, they put these awesome soundtracks. They can copyright the soundtracks.
Yep.
But, the imagery is just, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there is a plethora of individuals who would wish that Metropolis wasn't in the public domain, but
Yeah. I've I've seen it. I have a copy of it. Um, that was one of those I just wanted to get my hands on, like the Phantom of the Opera. The silent movies are pretty cool. Nosferatu, of course, but they're ones that I'm hesitant to play them as the main, on a ChillerNight theater episode is like the main 9 o'clock one, because that's one that I just don't know that the general audience would want to sit and watch. Um,
well, you just have to write new dialogue for it and then perform it throughout the evening.
yeah, maybe I could just dub over it. Yeah, or yeah, we could just do a Zoom call and everybody's putting their own dialogue in there.
Well, it's a shame. I really do like the silence, but I know what you mean. It's hard to really show them without the right music, and it's hard to just put something in there,
Yeah.
It's sort of go along with what's going on in the story.
Sporty
But
says that explains why I can't find Satanic Rites on YouTube. Yeah, they took them all down. They were on there for a long time. For many years they were on there. And then, like I said, all of a sudden, I got notified Satanic Rites of Dracula was a copyright violation, even though for many, many years, that's all you've always seen that on the public domain list. If you go on there, if you go online right now, you know, I'm sure that you would see that in numerous public domain lists. But for some reason, was somebody wrong at some point when they put it on there? I don't know.
you see, the problem here is that there's no like official public domain list. If there was, life would be so simple. Um, that's why you have copyright attorneys who get paid to go research this stuff, because
Yeah.
something, and it gets complicated because sometimes, well, yeah, the movie is out of copyright. The story that it was based on is not out of copyright. So you can't do it then. And that's sometimes the music in the film was copyrighted separately and that was maintained. So
Yeah.
it can get really, really confusing fast.
Dan says, just joining, you may have covered this, but Night of the Living Dead is public domain right now, right?
Yes, it is, DB Cooper.
It's supposed to be, but if you talk to Russ Streiner and the folks that were, made the movie, they're saying it's not, but everywhere else on the internet says it is. So
Haxton is definitely public domain.
yeah, it's public domain. So I don't know. That one's a little iffy. And I remember when Tom Savini was a guest on the show. He asked me, because we were playing, and this is back in 2008, this was quite a while ago. But that night we were playing Night of the Living Dead, and I had him on as a guest. And he asked me, like, hey, are you going to play my version of Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 version? I said, I would love so much to play the 1990 Night of the Living Dead. I said, but unfortunately, that I could really get in trouble for. But I would love to play that one. I don't know how a lot of viewers, I don't know if you like that movie or not, but the 1990 Night of the Living Dead, I loved that movie. I thought that was so well done, and I just love how Tom Savini went at that movie. Bonehead says, Brian, you mentioned Don't Hurt to Ask. Did you ever check out Newcastle After Dark and maybe ask them how they can show the movies they do with the disclaimer? I haven't contacted them. I haven't looked into that. The only thing I was going to look into, if I get a chance or think of it after the fact, is if that disclaimer, looking more into the disclaimer part rather than contacting them. I don't know anybody. I've heard of Newcastle After Dark, but I'm not super familiar with it, and I certainly don't know those guys. Um, it's kind of weird because some people are kind of protective about that stuff, and I am too in some regards. I mean, um, I don't know how to put this. Would they view that as, oh, there's somebody who's trying to do what we're doing, and we're telling them how to how to do it when we had to go find this out on our own, that type of thing. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. Now, the only time I'll admit I got upset is that, like, I know there's a million horror host shows on there, and that's fine. It's not like that's my job, but the only time I got upset was when we were doing we did a live. We were getting set to do a live Chiller Night Theater. I'm getting all set to do this, and on my page comes somebody promoting another show that's coming on. And I was furious. That was the only time I think I really got upset at that type of thing. Other than that, I don't care. I could care less who does what. It's like I say, it's not like this is my job or nothing. But that was I do recall getting pretty mad.
I don't know. I think YouTube cutting off your feed, like right in the middle of the movie, was pretty bad. But what do I know?
Yeah. I'm on there like normally like if you could see the screen here, there's tons of comments, and I'm sorry everybody that I can't get to all the comments, but thank you for joining in and participating like this, but everybody else can see what's being wrote. But what's I gonna say? Brian says Attack of the Crab Monsters 1957. Monsters. All right, I'll just write Crab Monsters. Dan says, "Yep, agreed. 1990 Night of the Living Dead gets a bad rap. Not sure why. I love it. I didn't know that. I didn't know it got a bad rap. I just didn't. Somebody had asked me. It was one of the folks from Gross Fest. I was on here doing one of these shows, and it was one of the times. It was a couple of years ago when they had asked me about what do you think about the theatrical release? Like, what do you think the reviews was at the time?" And I honestly, like at the time, I was thinking, well, in 1990, I was actually overseas. I didn't know anything about the movie coming out. I didn't know about that until I got back stateside. And then it was even then, a couple years later, I watched it on video. I didn't know about it when it first came out, though.
Brian, you're missing some logos on your screen here.
What am I missing?
Like all your logos.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There's Chop
Show
Block,
people we
there's
think it's a
Michelli.
movie. There you go.
All right. Thank you there. Yeah.
Sorry, folks. We were getting this together before the feed.
Yes. Chop Block TV. They have Scott Paulson, he has quite a channel there with Chop Block TV. Check it out if you get a chance. They have a Roku channel, and he's got a plethora of horror-related programming on there. There's a lot of horror hosts, and I know he's got Chiller Chat and Chiller Night Theater episodes on there, but he's got a lot of other ones on there as well. So it's kind of cool. If you're fans of horror, which I know you are, check that out. There's a lot of content on there. Sporty says, any Paul Naschy movies in public domain? There are, but I'm trying to think of which ones might be in public domain. Well, hey, I'm going to say yes, but I don't know. That could change. I mean, I could be wrong. I wish, like Tom had said, I wish there was a definitive public domain list. Because I've seen like Assignment Terror, otherwise known as Frankenstein versus Dracula, the one with Michael Renee in it. That was supposed to be public domain. Whether it is or not, I don't know. We played it on Sleepy Hollow Theater, back the show's older title, and we didn't have any problem with it then. But
Oh, I'd love to see them.
What, the Sleepy Hollow Theater?
What's that?
What would you like to see?
Them.
Oh, them. Oh, yes.
James Arness and James Whitmore, and I think that was 1958.
That sounds right. That was the
Uh,
movie that first introduced the
no,
Wilhelm scream.
1954.
54.
Yes, yes, that is true.
Uh,
Um,
does everybody know what the Wilhelm scream is? If you're like a Star Wars fan, I'm sure that you've heard of the Wilhelm scream. It's the one scream that you continuously hear over and over when like a stormtrooper is falling somewhere. It was first used with the stormtrooper falling in one of the pits in the Death Star. Luke shot him from the bridge and he fell. Well, that's called the Wilhelm scream. It was first introduced on the movie Them. They just
that was a sound library that they came up with, of sound effects and screams and everything to, just for like stock footage that you could use in your production. And yeah, it's there's a number of, but there's that one that is so distinctive.
hmm I should
Um,
I should put it on here as something I can just hit and it comes up.
I saw a reference. It's actually it's not. Are you saying that that actual scream was from them?
Yeah,
Okay, I remember hearing where it was from. I didn't remember it being from that movie, but
yeah,
okay.
yeah. If you watch that movie, you'll hear it. Renee says that movie with those extraordinary extraterrestrial alien turtles with the snakeheads eating the bones of human beings, featuring starring Grand Moff Tarkin. Oh, Peter Cushing. Wait a minute. The alien turtles, the snakeheads eating the bones of human beings, featuring Grand Moff Tartar or Peter Cushing. Huh. Island of Terror? Is that you wrote then below it, Renee? Island of Terror. It could be. Is that the one that? You know what? That one might be public domain. I think that one is on YouTube.
What's that?
Island of Terror. I'm gonna look that one up. Um, if that's the one that I'm thinking of, I went to check that out probably about a month ago because that was one I was considering playing on here, and maybe it will be. Let's see. You think that's the name of it, Renee? Let's see. Of Terror,
Is that a
1966.
the Peter Cushing movie?
Yeah, there it is, 1966. Well, that looks like a pretty good potential. Let me write that down. Um,
Um, it's. Ooh, what is this? It might be public domain.
okay, well, I will put that on the list. I'll try to come up with something for Tuesday night. Everybody good for Tuesday? You want to try the Terror Tuesday? We could do it. We could do it. Like I said, it doesn't.
Hmm.
Oh, Sporty says Jack Shadow is the best modern host by far. Oh, thank you so much, Sporty 2000.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Retro Film Vault says Island of Terror is public domain, so
No way. Island of Terror. You know what? That might be a Halloween one that Jack Shadow hosts. Then put a little star by it. No, not a star. I'll put a little skull.
it's called. Don't forget the crossbones.
Keep the theme. Yeah, that might be one for Halloween. Oh, wow, we got a lot of possibles to choose from. Sheila says, "Oh, Paul Naschy, Blast from the Past." Yeah, Paul Naschy. He did a series of the where he played the werewolf. Vladimir Deminsky, the werewolf character, and he had played that, I don't know, at least a dozen times, it seems. Been in a lot of movies with that werewolf character. So, let's see.
All right, what's our movie lineup for tonight again?
Oh, that's right. It's past 8:30. We'll put that up here. All right. 9 o'clock. Manos, The Hands of Fate. Manos, The Hands of Fate was brought to you by Paul. That was one that Paul had asked for, and by golly, I like to oblige if I can. So there we go. 9 o'clock. That was fun. That was one that we just did Tuesday night. And 10:25. The movie is The Snow Creature. 11:50. The Mad Monster. At 1:25 a.m. The movie is Dementia 13. The Snow Creature. I'm trying to think if that was. There's the Snow Creature and the Snow Beast. And I played both of these. I think the Snow Creature is one of those that was a made for TV movie. And I'm not sure if it's the Snow Creature or the Snow Beast. Brian says last one, The Brain from Planet Arus, 1957. The Brain from Planet Arus. You know that was. It's not public domain. I wish it were, but it was actually the very first movie that Chiller Theater out of Pittsburgh, WIIC at the time, then became WPXI, had played. It was the very first movie that they featured on Chiller Theater with host Bill Chilly Billy Cardell. So, interesting. Let's see. Okay, Brad says all movies, books, TV shows, except music and radio sound in pre-1927 is automatic public domain. Music and radio that is 100 years old or earlier that President Trump signed into law in 2018 is public domain. Music and radio that is 100 years old or earlier that Trump signed into law.
It's got to be 100 or more.
Okay. All right.
And again, I think it depends on, how good the lawyers are, whether that goes through or not. I don't think we're going to see Mickey Mouse coming into public domain at 100 years.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He's worth too much money.
Yeah, well, I mean, can't they renew it? I think that there is an option of renewing.
Well, there's a point where your options run out, and that's what it was like 75 years after the creator's death or something. I think your estate can hold it for a while, but then there's just a limit, and I don't know where it is.
I don't know how that works, but that's more about it. It sounds than certainly I do. I just go online and look at a list and hope it's right.
Well, it's like It's a Wonderful Life is public domain, and it is. It was never renewed after a certain point. However, the book that it's based on is not in public domain, so you get in trouble showing it because all the characters and the names and things like that are tied to the book.
Interesting. I had no idea. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why it gets complicated in this thing about why. Well, yes, the film is public domain, but the story. They didn't write the story for the movie. The story came from somewhere else.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, and music can be treated differently in movies as well. So it's like, yeah, you can show the movie, just block out that song, and then you'll probably be fine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's. I used to subscribe to a copyright lawyer on YouTube for a while. It was pretty interesting to learn about some of this stuff. Because, as you know, this has been a big thing over the past few years since, it's gone from the Wild West into, what it is now, where people can make some serious money with some stuff that doesn't cost them a dime.
Right. Let's see. Dan says, surely the Hammer film Horror Express is still under copyright. Would be cool if it's public domain. No, that one actually is public domain. We've played that on ChillerNight Theater. That's one that, whenever we go kind of through the cycle of shows that we've played, we throw that one in there. We usually play that once or twice a year. In fact, Horror Express was the first movie that I did as Jack Shadow for Stream TV. When I started, my collaboration with Stream TV began, that was the very first movie that we played back in October of 2017. So you can play that one.
So that was Jack Shadow's first movie hosting?
No, well, with Stream TV. It was
Stream
the
TV.
very first movie that Jack Shadow hosted back in May of 2008 was The Last Man on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vincent Price.
Yep. And I'll watch shows like this that I do, and I keep saying this. I keep saying House on Haunted Hill, and I don't know why. I'm visioning Vincent Price when I'm saying it, but I know it's Last Man on Earth. But for some reason, I've caught myself a couple times saying it was House on Haunted Hill. That's not true. That's not even close to true. Oh, Paul must be leaving. Glam says, good night, Paul. Paul's taking off. Oh, yep. Taking care of Dad. See you at 9 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Love you, family. All right, Paul. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Dan, let's see. Bonehead says, Dan, I'm a retired trucker. You get used to staying up for long hours. Oh, I missed something earlier. Wow, so many comments. That's great. That's great. Lots of participation. Hey, while I've got everybody here, while I've got your attention, feel free, to share the videos, to get that out there. It would be wonderful to see, at least a couple hundred views. I know that's far from viral by any means, but it would just really help out. Doesn't have to be while it's going on, but if you could just share a video, if you think about it, every once in a while. I'm not asking you to inundate your page with this stuff, but just every once in a while, if you could do that, that would be helpful. Let's see. Dan says, that's why Tales from the Crypt is such a dang mess regarding copyright BS. Such a shame. Oh, is that right? Love Tales from the Crypt.
Terror Tuesday.
Terror Tuesday. Let's see. James says, I like watching some old remakes. Last Man on Earth, the Omega Man, is what I really like. Yep, they were based on the same story. In fact, I'll tell you, and I've mentioned this on here before, but talked to Bill Cardell. I knew him for a couple years there before he passed away, and other than just being a guest on my show, which I was very appreciative of, I used to talk to him quite a bit on the phone. I mean, we would have 30, 40-minute conversations on the phone, numerous times. And one of the things that he had said, I think he also said this in our interview too, but that's the movie, The Last Man on Earth, that actually inspired George Romero to make Night of the Living Dead. Because he was watching a movie, and him and his buddies, and he was going to film school, I guess, and he said, hey, I think I can make a better movie than that. And he ended up making Night of the Living Dead based on watching that movie. And you can tell, if you watch that movie, the creature is a kind of a mix between a zombie type creature and a vampire, surround the house. He's got to go out, and there are a lot of similar characteristics. Thought that was pretty interesting.
I don't know. I just like zombies that are creepy. If they're fast, okay. That can be pretty creepy.
Yeah, I now they would certainly be more dangerous. I mean, they're obviously a much more of a threat if they're running. But I'm just I don't know. I've just always been a fan of the slow lumbering. They seem you know why is because they seem more nightmarish to me in that they're dead. They actually look dead to me. Like that's what dead would look like if it came up out of the ground. Like it wouldn't be running in a full sprint, you know.
Well, what's the terror in here that they're inevitable, that they'll never stop because they're not going to get tired because they're already dead?
What for which one? The slow or the fast?
The slower ones, the ones that you like.
What's the scary part? I don't know. It just seems like to me it seems more ghoulish. It seems more um, monstrous, like something just crawled dead out of the ground. Like that's how I would imagine them moving. You know, having a hard time moving, just kind of like a full sprint. I mean, that's tough for me to do, let alone something that just crawled out of the ground or got up after being dead. I don't know. To me, of course, you have to have a ton of suspending your disbelief, to accept that. But to me, that would be more realistic. That these things are just lumbering rather than running. They could be at a trot. The very first zombie that we see, Bill Heinzman's zombie on Night of the Living Dead, was kind of going at a little trot chasing Barbara, but full sprint, I don't see
So
it.
you're not like a World War Z kind of guy.
No. I watch them. I watch that stuff. I mean, I was watching that movie probably about a month ago, just little bits of it, just for the heck of it. But it's not. I will say, I like the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I enjoy that movie, and that's got the fast running, crazy, psychotic, rabid zombies in it. But it's I don't know. Overall, I just like
Hmm.
the Romero, what they refer to as the Romero zombies.
Yeah, I think the white zombies were a little slow for my taste.
Well, they're not. They're not. Obviously you just walk around them and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I don't care.
the scary thing is that idea of they're outnumbering you. Eventually, they're there's just too many of them. I don't know. There's something with your house surrounded by them, like in Night of the Living Dead. That was the challenge. It's not so much one or two of them because that Ben was able to take them out pretty easy, but when they start congregating, that's when you're in trouble. Renee says, "ChillerNight Live
Oh,
pre-show rocks." All right, thank you, Renee. Um,
um, Last Man on Earth had similar zombies to Romero, didn't he?
mhm. Yeah,
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 I
they
mean,
seem to have a hard time. I mean, they could move. There were scenes where they were kind of chasing them around, and they were moving a little quicker in some parts, but definitely not like Dan says. Yeah, the 28 days later zombies and Korean zombies are way too impossibly terrifying, over the top. Well, it definitely would be more frightening. I mean, between the two, yeah, that's much more of a threat. The fast running zombies but I don't know. There's something a little bit more. Whenever I used to have nightmares about zombies, um, to me it was always the slow ones and I don't know, like they were just too
I don't know
many.
these faster ones. I guess it's coming out of a culture where you see people on PCP, and you just wonder what people can do when they have almost unlimited strength,
Yeah,
for a human.
like bath salts and stuff. When there was that rash of people just going crazy and eating
Yeah,
people's faces and crazy stuff like that.
yeah, that's pretty terrifying. And we're coming to get you, Barbara.
Right. Let's see. SBC says I don't like the fast zombies either. In the last few years, all films have become so fast paced. Yeah, I don't know. It's um, I hear that The Walking Dead is going to have fast moving zombies on there. So I suppose if you had I suppose in the Walking Dead universe, you know, if they had a mix of the slow moving and there was a reason you had the fast moving zombies, that
Mhm.
might be entertaining to me, I suppose. I mean, that world, the whole world's contaminated with this, uh, with the zombies. I don't know. Do they evolve? I mean, or is it just a different type of strain that contaminates the body, after death? I don't know. I
Mm.
hear that that's what they're gonna do. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
So are we looking at another movie on Tuesday?
Oh yeah, we'll do a Tuesday Terror. How's that sound, everybody? Everybody good with that? We'll movie to be announced.
Absolutely.
Um, let's see. Bonehead says the spider in the skull just wouldn't shut up. Funny. Hey, lol. The spider in the skull. I'm sorry. I jumped. I jumped into that
This,
probably after. Uh,
this is an ongoing trucking conversation he's having with
oh,
Clam.
okay. Renee says, "Whoa, wow, PCP angel dust." Dan gave a thumbs up there. I think that's what we're going on. Bonehead says the zombies have been in training and are possibly using PEDs.
PEDs.
Is that what's going on? They're training. Yeah. Yeah. They've got personal trainers. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Well, it is 8:54. I'm gonna put the schedule back up, and then we'll chat. We still got a few more minutes left here, but at 9 o'clock. Now somebody had asked me about a link for the movies, but what I'll do here. Oh, I don't have that up either. See, Tom, I didn't have that up either. Stream TV, Stream Media, right above Tom there, right above Castle Shadow. You can see streammedia.tv. All right, let me put the schedule up here. In just a few minutes here, about 5 or 6 minutes, if you go to streammedia.tv, you can check out the ChillerNight programming. Beginning at 9 o'clock is Manos, The Hands of Fate. 10:25, the movie is The Snow Creature. 11:50, the movie is The Mad Monster. And at 1:25, the movie will be Dementia 13. So there you have it. There's the lineup. They are essentially back to back. Might be a minute or two in between, but they are back to back Chiller Night Theater episodes all night long till about 3 in the morning or so.
Hmm.
James has a question. Have a question. I watched a vampire movie but didn't get the title. There was a male and a female vampire couple who didn't bite people for blood. The male would, but the blood. Any idea? The male. I don't know, James. Is it an older movie or was it a newer one? You give me maybe an idea. But that just from hearing it. How about you, Tom? Does that sound familiar to you by the description?
No, it does not. But yeah, we have to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah, give me a time frame. Like, was this in the 60s? If you know who made it, like, was it Hammer or something? It doesn't sound familiar to me, but though.
A male and female vampire couple. I wonder if it was a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, or maybe it was even a series. Are you talking about a series? SBC
Okay.
says if they use fast zombies in The Walking Dead, then they can't call it The Walking Dead anymore. That's true. They have to be The Running Dead. They have to change the. Well, the show is
Galloping
ending
Dead.
anyway.
The Galloping Dead.
Yeah, the show's ending in October. They're finishing up this particular series. Then they'll catapult into their spin-off series. Now, Daryl, I see pictures of the Daryl show, whatever they're going to call that one. It looks like he's in Paris. He's got the Eiffel Tower behind him. And if you remember from the first season, that doctor, I forget his name, but he told the group when they went to the CDC in Atlanta, he told them that the French were the ones. I thought he said something like the French were the ones who worked the longest on trying to find a cure for it. So I'm thinking that's the connection. So
Okay.
But John says, you have been watching the Chiller Night pre-show with Brian Hogue and a special guest. This is Crozak the Grand reminding you that Brett I. Gordon is celebrating his 100th birthday today. And there's only 137 days until Halloween, until next Saturday night. Stay chilled and keep thrilled. Thank you, John. Crozak the Grand.
That would be Bert High Gordon.
Who is it?
Bert High Gordon.
Bert High Gordon.
Bert
Who is that?
High Gordon. A famous director.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Let me get it in here. I'll give you some B movies. Let's see. The Amazing Colossal Man, War of the Colossal Beast.
Oh, okay. Movies
Earth
right up
versus
our
the
alley.
Spider. Earth versus the Spider.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize the name of the director. That's pretty cool. 100 years old. Good for him.
Yeah, September 24th, 1922.
Awesome. Renee says, Killer Live Show, Horror Sci-Fi Family. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Renee, for joining us. It is 8:59. Tom, thank you. As you've heard it, not only from me, but from others, you are the special guest tonight, so thank you. Thank you.
I can't argue with that. I was a special guest tonight. That's for damn sure.
There you go. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you joining us. That was a fun episode. I'm sorry I missed so many comments, but this was fun actually chatting during the pre-show like this. So, all right. So we can probably do this again next week, as long as I don't have any bookings for the escape room. Now I think Tom and I have got this down pretty good, and I noticed that you lasted longer than 30, 40 minutes, so that's cool. We had.
Oh, I fixed it on my end.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you, everybody. So, appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
And everyone, have a good night. Have a good chiller night, and we'll see you hopefully Tuesday. Don't forget about Tuesday. All right. See ya.